As an interest rate decision looms this week, we're getting an alarming snapshot of the debt Canadians are carrying. And a new survey from MNP says Canadian concern about debt has reached an all-time high. 52% of respondents, or just over half, say they're $200 or less away from not being able to pay their bills by the end of the month. That is up 6 points since last quarter. 35% say they don't have enough money in their savings to cover their bills and debt payments right now. That's an all-time high. A record 52% of Canadians regret the amount of debt they've taken on in their lifetime. And that number is up 9 points since the last 3 months. 48% of Canadians are very concerned about their current level of debt. And that number is up 2 points since last quarter and is also a record. And 61% of millennials are the most likely to regret the amount of debt they've taken on. That's up about 6 points from last quarter. Joining me now is Simon Gaudreault, Chief Economist with the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. Simon, a new report from the MNP Consumer Debt Index shows 52% of Canadians are less than $200 away from not being able to meet their financial obligations. So what does this report tell you about rising debt among Canadians?
Well, it's certainly an illustration of the economy that we're in. You have the Bank of Canada trying to fight inflation, consumers going out of a tough period with sometimes a lot of debt that is hanging around, and the rates being at an unprecedented level. If the Bank of Canada, for example, raise rates again this Wednesday, it will be the highest level in 30 years. So for a lot of Canadians, it's a very tough financial situation to be in, and you're faced with tough choices. And that's why we're seeing in the data that you just shared that a lot of Canadians are unsure about their debt level and their perspectives.
Right. Now, the Bank of Canada is expected to raise interest rates again on July 12th. What factors are going into that decision to continue hiking the rates?
Well, the bank is looking at a wide range of factors when it tries to assess whether or not higher interest rates are warranted. And although a lot of analysts believe that the bank will hike rates again, it is not a done deal. The bank has surprised the analysts a few times already, so they might decide that they sit on the sidelines. Actually, the picture is not black or white there. There is a range of factors that are showing that the economy keeps growing. A lot of analysts predicted a recession. We still haven't seen one in Canada. So with the economy still growing, certainly it's not helping in taming inflation. You also have a strong labor market. There are still a lot of jobs that are unfilled in Canada. But at the same time, we've seen a higher unemployment rate recently. And on the other side, you have a lot of Canadians that are indicating that, and including in this survey results that you just shared, that are indicating that they're thinking about their expenses more and more. And we do actually have at CFIB some recent indicators of small business confidence that are showing that it is at one of its lowest points in recent months, if not years. So you do have a bit of a mixed picture here of an economy that is still perhaps running a bit hot, but at the same time slowing down. So the bank might decide to hike rates by a quarter percentage point, for example, next Wednesday. But there are at the same time other signals that might warrant a pause.
All right, we will have to leave it there. That's our time. Simon Gaudreault, Chief Economist with the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. Thank you for your insights today.